Just waiting for it to. It being 6 o'clock on Tuesday, July 15th, 2025, I'm calling this Board of Selectmen meeting to order, and we'll begin with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is being recorded by the local scene. Anyone intending to make an audio or video recording of this meeting should notify us at this time. Financial assistance applications are available on the town's website or by calling the Selectmen's office. For anyone interested in volunteering, there are several vacancies on various committees and boards. To see a complete listing of openings, please visit our website at www.kingstonma.gov. Kingston's Capital Planning Committee and Finance Committees currently have open seats needing to be filled. The Finance Committee has 3 openings for residents interested in helping review and recommend Kingston's annual operating budget, school budgets, and fund transfers. The Capital Planning Committee, with 1 open seat, studies and prioritizes funding requests for municipal capital improvements, such as vehicles, equipment, technology, infrastructure, land, playgrounds, and public buildings, over a 5-year plan. For other information on openings, again, the website, you can visit the website or call the Selectmen's office at 781-831-6023. New townhouse hours have begun. The new hours are Monday, 8 to 5, Tuesday, 8 to 6, Wednesday and Thursday, 8 to 5, and closed on Friday. New transfer station hours for Mondays have also begun. The new hours are 10 a.m. to 3:45 p.m. Effective Tuesday, July 1st, the town of Kingston changed our emergency alert system from Blackboard Connect to Code Red, which is administered through the Plymouth County Sheriff's Department. Subscribers to the old system were brought over to the new system, and a test message was sent at 5:30. I think that was, 2 weeks ago that we did that? So if you did not receive that message, you're encouraged to enroll for the new system at www.pcsdma.org/codered.html, and that information is also on the website. If you have questions about that system, you can contact the fire department at 781-585-0532, or you can email them at kingstonfiredept@kingstonma.gov. Excuse me. The Kingston Cultural Council is in need of members. The council works with Mass Cultural Council to provide grant funding on an annual appropriation from the state legislature and funds from the National Endowment for the Arts and others. Without new members, they will not be able to receive, we as a town will not be able to receive the funding to support these programs. If you're interested in volunteering for that, please reach out to the Selectmen's office. Are there any other announcements?
Just that we have music night July 22nd, 6 to 8 at Grays Beach Park. Hopefully the weather holds out for us.
That was it? Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. We haven't had one yet.
Okay. Is there anyone here for open forum?
Okay, so my first...
Just start with your name and address, please.
Sorry, I forgot again. My name is Will Cushman, 273 Main Street, Kingston, Mass. I'm here today to ask, is there any updates on a mall reconstruction, and can you confirm the date for the town meeting as Tuesday, October 28th, as it is a weekday and it's normally on the weekend, if I'm correct. Thank you.
So annual town meeting is on a Saturday, and special town meeting is always on a Tuesday evening.
Tuesday evening?
Mm-hmm. For special town
and
meeting.
any updates on reconstruction for the mall?
That I don't know.
There hasn't been any updates at all that we can provide the public at this point, no.
Okay,
Sorry.
thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Nope. Okay. All right, so we'll move along to the first item. We have a request for a temporary road closure. The motion itself that's before us for consideration has all of the details about the event itself. This was reviewed by the police and fire chiefs and our superintendent of streets, trees, and parks, and their comments were included in the suggested motion for our consideration. Were there any concerns about this request for the road closure? Any concerns from Keith? No? Okay, so if anyone wants to make that motion?
I move the Board of Selectmen approve the request from Christopher Kastanek to close Foxwood Lane on Saturday. I move the Board of Selectmen approve the request from Christopher Kastanek to close Foxwood Lane on Saturday, August 30th, 2025, during the hours of 9 a.m. through 10 p.m. with the following conditions. Access for emergency vehicles must be maintained. All barricades must be placed to allow emergency responders to quickly move them. The petitioner must pick up all needed barricades and road closed signs from the Highway Department, and all barricades and signs will be erected by the petitioners prior to the event. Notification is made by the petitioner to the neighborhood residents that are affected by the road closure.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that's 400. Next, we have a request for multiple one-day liquor licenses from 42nd Brew Co. So these are for events taking place at the Kingston Collection, and all of the appropriate parties have signed off on the event. Again, the details are within the motion, so unless someone has any reservations on making the motion, I could entertain that now.
I move the Board of Selectmen approve the one-day liquor license request from Stephen Darby of 42nd Bruco for Gears and Beers event at Jones River Storage, 26 Wapping Road, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and the South Coast Cruisers event at Kingston Collection, 101 Kingston Collection Way, on July 19th, 26th, and August 2nd, from 5 to 8 p.m.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that's 400. Okay, so moving to additional items, we have a request to accept Massachusetts Civil Service Hybrid Model, also known as Local Register Hiring Program, and that falls under Mass General Law, Chapter 31, Sections 59A through 59D. Is that something you would like to speak about? I would love to. That would be great. I mean, I can read this, but I think you'll probably do a better job presenting it than I will. Maybe not. I guess we'll see.
Lieutenant Bateman, Kingston Police Department. Basically, this boils down to civil service, trying to make it a little easier for civil service towns to be able to hire people or take transfers and things of that nature. It's a good option for the town. It has to be a 50-50 after 5 years, so you can't have more than 50% of the people off the civil service list at the end of the 5 years. As far as we're concerned with it, is it's an option that we can use, not something that we say we're going to go to it for the next 5 candidates or 10 candidates or anything like that, but there's issues with hiring all throughout the Commonwealth, and to be able to retain people, sometimes it's fiscally responsible to be able to take someone as, like, say, per se, a lateral, take them on as, and hire them from a non-civil service town. We don't have to pay for an academy, they get right online quicker, and they fill a spot a lot quicker than a year process from start to finish with civil service.
Did you say that after 5 years, we have to have 50%, or we can't have more than 50%?
Can't have any more than 50%.
Got it, okay.
Yep. And
Sorry, I
there's a whole process to that with civil service that we have to abide by and let them know. This policy that was in the packet is basically stating how we're gonna hire people, and it's that was approved by civil service, so.
Right, to avoid things like nepotism and favoritism, and it covered a lot of that, I noticed.
I don't think we're gonna have any issues with that, but.
Right,
yeah.
well,
Yeah.
it's always good to write it down, right?
Right.
And then once hired, civil service applies to those folks as well, even if they weren't previously in a civil service community.
Yeah, and that's
correct?
something that, on the back end, I'm sure there's gonna be a little, impact bargaining. I know you love that word, impact
do not.
bargaining. That'll have to happen, and I don't think there's gonna be any issues with that, as far as that. And that's more concerned with, if there was the dreaded layoffs, things of that nature, and what orders and stuff like that.
I spoke to Chief Holmes earlier today, and he had mentioned that should impact bargain, when it comes to impact bargaining, it was more about the language
Yep,
and less about,
we're not gonna ask for $1 million for
or
this.
40,000
Correct.
vacation days, which is what I always
Yeah,
say. It's
yeah.
my, yeah,
And
okay.
then, in this day and age, for our town, we've been lucky, we don't have people leaving in droves out of Kingston. We haven't had anyone leave. If used, it's gonna come under a little more scrutiny of who we're taking and things of that nature to make sure they're gonna be a good fit and they're gonna stay here. So it's just hard to hire people. Things happen in the hiring process, and then you spend almost a year, and then all of a sudden, that candidate doesn't work out, so.
Right.
Can I just add something real quick? So maybe just to add on to what Lieutenant Bateman said, but this is just another option for the police department to utilize. Again, as Lieutenant mentioned, there are requirements for civil service or versus non-civil service, but it allows for us to attract, potentially recruit, and hire a sworn officer for a lateral transfer, where right now we may not be able to, or may not be able to as easily. So it just makes life a little bit easier for the police department to keep their sworn officers fully staffed and be able to move a little quicker at times, potentially, to fill an opening if there's somebody out there who is a good candidate for a lateral transfer, for example. So it's just another.
It's another tool in the toolbox.
Another tool in the toolbox, perfect.
Yeah. It's not something that we're gonna go right to the next, like I said, next 5 new hires. We wanna use the civil service process and hire off the list. But, it's another option. That's a big, and, I just think it'd be, the town would be remiss if it doesn't really per se cost. I think it's a good option to have.
And then should the town want to pursue in the future not being a civil service town, that would be something that town meeting would decide.
Correct. Inevitably, yes. Yep. I believe the last town that, there's been many towns that have done it recently, and then I would say either 4, and then there's been towns that have tried to have done it, and it's gotten voted down at
Sure.
town meeting.
Plymouth,
So,
that happened to Plymouth this spring.
yeah, Plymouth would be the
Because-
ones, but I think they're one of the outliers
Yeah.
around that actually voted it down.
Interesting.
But there's been a lot of other towns that have voted out, but
I know it's been a topic of discussion for a number of years, and there are
years and years.
people on both sides of the issue, so
Yep.
I just wanted to be clear that this board doesn't make that decision, that comes from town meeting.
Correct, yep. Unless they make some sort of another change in the civil service law, which they've been doing. But
That's true.
this is just an opportunity that, we feel the board would, look at and hopefully support, for the town, so.
And you think the department overall is supportive of this hybrid model? Okay.
Yep.
Do you guys have any questions?
I move the Board of Selectmen accept and authorize the provisions of the Massachusetts Civil Service Local Register Hiring Program under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 31, SS 59A through 59D, and further authorize the Chief of Police to enter into the appropriate memorandum of agreement for use of the program.
Is there a second?
Second.
Can I ask a clarifying question about that? So would we also need to approve of that memorandum of understanding, or are we authorizing him to do that?
So I think, if I could, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Lieutenant, just like you did, just like the board did a couple of weeks ago with the comfort dog, the chief and I we'll sit down with whoever else from the command staff and the unions and discuss this and bring an amendment to the contract back for the Board of Selectmen's consideration and approval.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
I move the Board of Selectmen authorize the Chief of Police and the Town Administrator to engage in impact bargaining with the labor units that are affected by the previous motion concerning the local registry hiring program.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Before you leave, does anyone have any questions about the next, the next item? It is the request for annual appointments of special police officers? No?
No.
Okay. I just didn't want you to leave in case I had any questions.
Whatever.
Okay. But apparently there are none. So this is just for the hiring of, again, special police officers. That's not full-time officers. Those are folks that can be called in should we need additional folks.
Correct. Yep, work details and things of that nature. Yep.
I move the Board of Selectmen appoint the following individuals to the position of Special Police Officer for the Kingston Police Department. The term of the appointment shall be effective immediately through December 31st, 2025. Scott Peterson, Edward McDonald, Caitlin Maury, David Hurley.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a request for some end-of-year line item transfers. The Finance Committee reviewed those transfers last evening. They debated them a bit, but they did ultimately all vote in favor of all of them. So there were some questions just about why these different costs have come up and where the money will go and why didn't we budget in different ways. So they addressed that last evening. Carl was there as well. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I made the comment last night because there was so much discussion that we should recognize that in total, we've approved only about $250,000 worth of transfers. And if you take the annual budget and remove the $30 million or so for education, which isn't part of these transfers, you're seeing transfers of less than 1% of the remaining budget. And anybody that thinks they can budget within 1% on an annual basis, I'd like to hire them. So I think it's a good job.
I agree. Any questions? No? Go ahead.
I move the Board of Selectmen approve the transfer as presented this evening, or, yeah.
That's fine.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we have 400. Okay, so next we have consideration of an amendment to a pilot agreement between the Town of Kingston and Kearsarge Kingston LLC. If you may recall, I don't remember what year we did this, but there was an article before town meeting that allowed for pilot agreements to be signed off by, I believe it's the Board of Assessors and the Board of Selectmen, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is modifying the agreement that's already in place, and this is for the solar panels on the landfill?
Yes.
And there was just some language that needed to be adjusted because they're actually leasing the land from us, so the way it was worded was almost as if they owned the land, but because Kingston owns the land, it just needed to be modified. The chart, the fee chart and everything remained the same. Did anyone have any questions or concerns?
From what I read and the way I interpreted the comments and the chart, this would be revenue neutral, correct?
Absolutely, yes, sir. Yep.
Do we want to?
Sure, yeah, if you're ready.
Sure. I move the Board of Selectmen approve the amendment of tax agreement for personal and real estate property between the Town of Kingston and Kearsarge Kingston LLC as presented.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that's 400. And next, we have a request for an appointment for the Assistant Town Treasurer. Due to a vacancy at the Assistant Town Treasurer position, we advertised the position, and then upon completion of the interview process, our Town Treasurer, Ken Moali, has a recommendation before us for the hiring of Crystal Rich for the Assistant Town Treasurer position. Did anyone have any questions or concerns? I had questions about the salary amount, but Keith had spoken with me about that, and it is it a,
So the salary amount in the budget was a step 3, and I apologize, grade 7 maybe?
yeah,
And the amount that was offered to the candidate was we were able to negotiate down to the same number. So the amount in the budget is the actual salary that's been offered to the successful candidate.
My only comment is that I was the one who requested to see the resume application, and that's because over the years, I've always felt that the Board of Selectmen is tasked with approving some job levels and some positions that, you know, maybe the department managers, the town administration should be approving. So I've always felt that I didn't need to do this. But if I am being asked to look at a hiring, I think that I at least want to see a resume that I can tell that it's not somebody that just got out of Sing Sing or wherever. So that was the only reason I requested it, and I'll reiterate, I believe that the Board of Selectmen should be involved when you're hiring department managers or directors, whatever we call them, but that the Human Resources Group, the department heads, the town administrator should have authority to hire some of these lower positions without coming before the Board of Selectmen. But that's
probably
just my
requires a
opinion.
bylaw allowing for that.
So I apologize. Just to follow up with the comments, I guess I just want to make sure moving forward that we're providing the information the board would like to see. Happy to provide either the application or the resume, if that's what the board would prefer to see in the board packets. Over the past year or two, I'm not sure why, but we haven't been providing any of the supporting documentation for the successful candidate. Would the board like that included in the board packet or not? Because, again, this is just me. I have, for a department head in my time here, I've always included a board member as part of an interview panel with other department heads and appropriate members of the public, I guess, to consider the first round of interviews. And I'm happy to continue to do that. I think it makes a lot of sense and a lot of buy-in to get everybody's opinion, but I'm just confused, I guess, and just looking for clarification. This is not a department head position, it's an assistant department head position, so to speak. Would the board like to see the documentation that's been submitted by the applicant in the board packet or not?
I think what Carl was saying is he would like to see it so that you have the authority to hire with the HR director without having us have to be involved in it. That's why I said I think that requires a bylaw change.
I would agree with that. There's a bylaw change to allow the town administrator.
The bylaw
authority.
specifically says that we have to approve
We are the appointing authority.
Okay. I can go two ways. Either I want to see the resume when I'm so-called quote-unquote approving it, or I can just abstain, because I don't need to vote on every one that comes in.
Yeah, so we may just want to have a conversation with Carl about that
Okay,
later.
absolutely. I'm happy to do it. I just, again, and I'm not trying to be a wise guy, but there's 5 of you. So
No,
it's-
I get
it's-
it.
I just want to provide whatever information, we're happy to do whatever you'd like us to do. Just need some direction. That's all. And we can talk about it another date if it makes more sense, but happy to
mean,
provide the information. if we can.
My stance is we're not the ones doing the interviews, we're not the ones really hiring, other than the fact that we're overseeing the process. So I think what you were doing was fine, but it wouldn't impact me if we had it included, but it doesn't matter.
Right, if
Okay.
we were being asked to interview folks and actually narrow down the
Yeah.
candidates, I would definitely need to
Oh,
see
absolutely.
the resumes.
And you would.
Yeah.
Yep.
But for this case, where for most employees, we are taking a recommendation from a department head and HR and yourself,
Sure.
I'm comfortable with
Okay,
taking the recommendation.
okay. Fair enough. Thank you.
Any question? No? Okay.
I move the board appoint Crystal Rich, to the position of Assistant Town Treasurer, a Schedule D7, Step 3, exempt position in the Wage and Personnel Bylaw with an anticipated start date of July 28th, 2025, contingent with the terms in the offer letter.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that was 400. Great. Okay, so next we have the acceptance of a timeline for the 2025 Fall Special Town Meeting. As was mentioned in open forum, our special town meeting is currently scheduled for Tuesday, October 28th, and I believe that timing is due to the MSBA requirements for
Yeah.
the school roof?
I forwarded the draft timeline to the superintendent last week.
Okay.
Believe that it's okay with the school. But this is, the date of the town meeting is specifically identified based on the Mass School Building Association grant process.
Okay. Any issues with the proposed timeline?
Looks good to me.
All right.
I move the board approve the proposed Tuesday, October 28th, 2025 special fall town meeting timeline.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that's 400. And does anyone have any updates on the establishment of a Department of Public Works? It's recurring on our agenda. I have no updates since 2 weeks ago, but,
No, I think, is it the next meeting that's gonna be another?
oh, that's right, our
Yeah.
public hearing is the next, is it 5:30?
5:30, yep.
Okay,
Yep. Other than that, no, I don't think there's any, I don't have anything. I don't know.
okay. I know Eric was doing some contacting and some more gathering of information for folks that had been requested, so we'll wait for an update from him on that. All right, so next, we have meeting minutes. We had some edits to the minutes. Everybody get a chance to take a look at that? Any questions?
I move the Board of Selectmen approve the open session meeting minutes of April 8th, 2025, June 3rd, 2025, and July 1st, 2025 as amended.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that's 400. And over to you.
Thank you. Some of the board members may be aware that the Kingston School Committee is asked to present, a proposal to create a school zone on Second Brook Street in front of the elementary and intermediate schools. Members of the police department, planning department, street trees and parks met Kingston school officials over there. The Kingston Police Department is fully in support of this project. We're having the plans reviewed by an engineer, so the engineer can say, yes, this is the appropriate location of signage and things of that nature. The school committee voted unanimously, to recommend to the Board of Selectmen, I anticipate probably in a couple of weeks, that a request to have the board consider creating a school zone in front of the elementary and intermediate schools to be in front of you for consideration. I think it was the vice principal of one of the schools made the suggestion. I'm kind of surprised, frankly. It probably just one of the things that fell through the cracks, that we didn't have a school zone in front of the intermediate and elementary school. So it's good to have that there. Streets, Trees, and Parks has made a request to a paving company that we've contracted with to repave a portion of the sidewalks on Main Street due to some of the worsening conditions on Main Street. Well, Will be thrilled with that.
Thank you.
You got it. Doing it just for you, Will. And so we haven't heard back a price yet. It'll be funded through Chapter 90 money. Sean has been trying to proactively get those squared away and try to identify the repairs. What would happen is Streets, Trees, and Parks, it would be a temporary repair, so to speak. Streets, Trees, and Parks would go through and remove any of the tree roots that are causing the sidewalks to pop up. They'd be flattened, and then probably an inch of asphalt will be placed on the sidewalk itself to make it smooth and safer for people to utilize those sidewalks. So that hopefully will be something that we get done sometime in July.
Do we know what section of Main Street?
We
it
do.
is?
It's from, and I apologize, I have it here. It's
I see it.
it's from Elm Street all the way down to Summer.
Wow.
It is on both sides. Now that, and again, that's the ideal, if we
Okay.
can afford to
I
do
was
it.
gonna say,
So
that sounds expensive.
it depends on the cost and the availability of funds, but we intend to repair some of the sidewalk on Main Street. We will do as much as we can afford to do this summer.
Okay, that
As a re-
area is the worst.
How do you get it? The Main Street stretch was a high priority on our safety list as well.
It is,
So just
and-
as a
and
reminder, for
again,
both the
this-
roadway and the sidewalk.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Valerie about it. The police department had what was part of the discussion about this. It's a temporary repair. We're looking at the bigger scope of redesigning and reconstructing Main Street at some point in the future. But we've had a couple of people trip and fall, and we want to address that before it becomes a liability. What do you got, Will?
I just wanted to say thank you, guys, for updating us on that, and I would say that's the worst part of Main Street that needs to be done as soon as possible.
Yeah, well, he
Thank
said
you.
July, so this is July.
Hopefully, I mean,
so
again.
I love that.
Okay, and I just wanted to say, if you guys can cut a couple tree branches back, that would be perfect as well.
Cut the tree branches back?
Yeah.
We'll
Yes,
work on-
yes, please.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We will do that for you, sir. You gotta stop growing, man. That's what the problem is. You're getting too tall. All right. Just, if anybody's interested and has some kids who are interested in a horse program, the Parks and Recreation Department has openings for a horsemanship program that starts next week. Children will gain hands-on experience in horse riding and care. It covers essential horsemanship skills along with fundamental equine knowledge, helping you develop a strong foundation in working with horses. The instructor is Christine Nava of Kingston's Timber Hill Stables. People can register on the Kingston Recreation Department website at kingstonma.myrec.com or call Parks and Rec at 781-585-0533. I also met a week and a half ago with the veterans agent in Kingston and also the Duxbury town manager, who is now interested in potentially pursuing a veterans district between the town of Kingston and the town of Duxbury. So we've had some initial discussions. The challenging part, very candidly, is going to be because we're moving from a community of 16,000 people to basically doubling that number. The veterans, and I'm sorry, I don't know if it's the VA or whatever organization oversees the Veterans Administration, and I apologize for not knowing it. They have guidelines that they've established, and what those guidelines reflect is a full-time veterans agent, which we have now, but also a full-time admin to support that veterans agent, which would be a new expense. And what I've explained to Duxbury, and if I'm wrong, I'm happy to be corrected, I think in the challenges we're facing with the budget and the concerns we have and the ability that we have now of addressing the veterans' needs that we have in Kingston, I don't believe the Board of Selectmen are going to be supportive of increasing the cost of the veterans' budget to form a district. But we're going to continue to work together to investigate that, and if we can find, excuse me, a way to effectively and affordably provide that, I think it'd be a benefit to both communities. And then again, as we already mentioned, we'll have a public hearing in 2 weeks about the Public Works Department. That's all I have tonight. I'd be happy to answer any questions the board has.
I have no questions. I know that we're going to talk about the regionalization committee. They asked that we discuss that, so
Oh, that's a good
Okay.
point, yeah.
I can, or you can, or. doesn't
Go
matter.
for it. That's up to you. I mean, so the Regionalization Committee has met
I don't mind.
4 times now.
Yeah.
We've interviewed an organization from UMass Amherst, the Collins Center from UMass Amherst. They're an organization that provides a variety of different services to support communities, whether it be recruitment offerings, or in this case, studying the regionalization of a school. The impression I have is the committee was very satisfied with the Collins Center. We've asked them, the committee asked them for some potential modifications to the scope that we discussed last week, and they're going to be working on that. And I expect when the committee meets again next month that they'll be ready to sign a contract with the Collins Center The Collins Center, and I left the meeting a little bit early, so I apologize. The Collins Center's tentative schedule is about 18 months.
Yep.
So it's not going to be something you're going to see at next spring's town meeting. They'll be holding an open forum to hear the public's concerns, comments, and thoughts that they have on the regionalization study and regionalization as a whole. And they'll have one in each of the 3 communities at the beginning of the study. And then they'll make a final presentation of their recommendations, I believe, at one location to all of the communities together towards the end of the study. They've got a couple of, 2 or 3, who seem to be very, very capable individuals who have been assigned to this study. And as I've mentioned before, it's going to be, I think the results of the study will be factual. And people will take the information that's provided in those reports, and they'll make decisions on their own whether they believe regionalizing or not regionalizing is good for the Kingston school children. And there'll be no persuasive language included in that report at all. It'll just be fact-based, and people could take those facts and come to their own decisions. But it's been a good group. We've had, community membership or representation from all 3 communities. They're participating, and I think it's been a really good working group so far.
Yeah,
If I recall correctly, they said something, the Collins Center in that meeting said something about part of the study would also include demographic study, so looking at the population increase or decrease and
Yep.
number of students. So that'll be very
Financial,
helpful as well.
demographic. I know that another important piece was to include staff, teachers, administrators to be included in that study group, which I think is important as well, so,
Yep.
yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it might really
Great
provide a
progress.
secondary benefit of budgeting and staffing levels moving
Yep.
forward in all 3 schools, which would be nice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anything else?
I'm good.
Okay. Any comments this evening or requests for future agenda items? I'm not in charge of agendas, so tell Tricia what you want. No? Nothing? Oh, he's awesome.
And I apologize for not doing this when Eric's here, but we had talked before town meeting, I think, really, of trying to get together with this FinCom, potentially the Capital Planning Committee, and the school committees from Silver Lake and Kingston schools to try to discuss timelines, expectations, guidelines for the fiscal '27 budget. And I just wanted to remind the board, I guess, that I think those discussions are going to be critical in trying to collaboratively come up with a budget presentation for next spring's town meeting that ideally all the elected bodies can agree on and support moving forward, and next May is going to come quick. So I'm not sure when people want to start meeting and having those discussions, but I think they're going to be important to try to have. So I just want to remind the board that that's out there, and whenever the board wants to schedule it, we'll try to organize that.
Yeah, happy to make it part of one of our meetings or a special meeting. I also agree it's important that we're all on the same page going into this.
And it would seem to me that, sometime in September, perhaps, that I think that August is tough to get a lot of different organizations together, but.
And
after
schools are
Labor Day.
ramping up for the school year, so once you get into September, they might have a little more flexibility.
I'll reach out to the superintendent this week, try to float some dates based on the school calendar and the town calendar.
And I know the local school committee is definitely interested
Good.
in
Good.
getting together with us.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay.
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
To executive session to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiation. It just repeats itself.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.